to a lot of us. I was privileged to call him my father. And it's hard. You know, somebody was asking me which is easier, because when my mom passed on, she was ill, and throughout the time we cared for her, we acknowledged the illness was taking over a lot more, and she was fighting, and after a while, we were kind of, we knew she had fought a good fight, and it was time to let her go. And you could even tell her, it's okay, just let go. You've done your part, you've fought, you've done this. But from there was no doubt when he went into hospital he was going to come out. Even the first few days he went in, we were joking about, because he went in on a Friday, so we were joking that, okay, the earliest you can get out of here is Tuesday. You know how hospitals are. So it's like jail. You're here for the weekend. What do you want to do? So this one is kind of hard because none of us saw this coming. But Mzee, you are a strong man. You are loved and you are respected. As I was doing my tribute, I was trying to figure out where do I start, how do I start giving a tribute to a man who was bigger than life. And I remember even, I think it was last month, but one, we were watching your friend Raila being laid to rest. It's so funny because we were talking about Junior and the way Junior spoke, and we were saying he did a good job. And I was like, yeah, he did. And I was saying, gosh, I never thought it, but I was like, you know, how would it be to you to say something to you? Mzee, you are respected. Everywhere we went, people who didn't know you were just like, Bari Mheshimiwa, Bari, and you were like, you were always so humble. You said hi to everybody, from the old to the young. You were the most humble person I met, and I knew. Growing up with you, you are a tough man, and you've taught me a lot. You've taught me how to be a man. You've taught me how to be a husband, how to be a father, because I always wanted to emulate you in everything you did. I see a lot of you here. I know each one of you has been touched by Mzee in one way or another. Because Mzee was a kind man. Mzee was a generous man. from the people in Boni, you really, really benefited from this man. Because there's no call he did not pick. If he had a problem, he would find a way to solve it. You really went out of your way to serve your people. And when you became a minister, you did the same for Kenya. You always, always wanted the best for Kenya. Your integrity was unmatched. You always wanted to do things the right way, because you always believed that anything that's done in the dark will always find a way to the light. And you loved your name and you wanted your name respected and held up high. So Dad, I don't have much to say. As always, when we used to talk, we used to know that we have a politician in my brother, so I don't need to go that way. In terms of eloquent speakers and somebody to stand by you, that was my sister, my big sister. And my little sister was just a ray of sunshine. We will miss you. It is going to be hard living without you. Especially the last few years, we've really bonded, and we really had some good talks. You always wanted to help me with business. If it's something you could do, if it is somebody you wanted me to meet, you always did your best to make sure I was okay. And I thank you. Dad, say hi to Mom. I know you're with your parents, you're with Mom and a bunch of friends, and you're all happy. And I wish you that happiness, for you are an amazing man. From time to time, look down on us and just check up on us and make sure we're okay. But all in all, we love you and we thank you for all you are and for all you did for your country, for your people, and for your family. Thank you, Dad. We love you. God bless.
Good afternoon. My name is Tindi Munyao Kamal. Thank you all for coming. Whew, this is hard. For those of you who've ever sat at the front in a function like this, you know it's not easy. So I hope I make it through my tribute. Before I begin, there are a few people I want to thank. I want to thank firstly my husband. You know, my siblings have said that Dad was their best friend, but we all know I was the best friend. For my husband, when we got married, the hardest thing was for me to, leave my parents. And he shared me with my parents. And I just want to thank my husband for allowing me to be there for my dad, especially after Mom went. Thank you for sharing me. Not very many men do that. So thank you, and by extension, your family, for understanding the bond I had. Let's just all appreciate him. The second person that I want to thank is my sister Judy. Jude was not here when Dad left, and I know it's been really hard, and she's been beating herself up about it. But Jude, thank you. When Mom went, you stayed with Dad for 6 months. She didn't go back. She has a family back in Atlanta, but she did not go back. She stayed with Dad. And it was so hard for her to do that. And we thank you. We thank you for staying with Dad. We thank you. Thank you, Jude. The third people I want to thank, I don't know if they've arrived, are the people who used to stay and take care of Dad. Madima, Bakari, Evelyn, Paulo, Musioka, and Chalo, his driver. Those guys took care of Dad. They had him covered. We had more people living in the house who are not us than him. So thank you, thank you. The fourth people I want to thank are HGF Miotoni, led by his chair, Rosalind Kamau and Sam Kamau. Thank you for being there for Dad after Mom left. Dad would always say, there are some people who pray and their prayers hit the ceiling. They just reach the ceiling, but there are others who pray and they go straight to God. And that was his HGF. Thank you very much. And the final people I want to thank is Dr. Kisioka, his personal physician, who has taken care of Dad his whole life. Thank you, Dr. Kisioka. I don't know if you're here. And Dr. Mohindi, thank you for giving Dad your all and sparing nothing. Okay, now I'm going to start my tribute. Like the rest, I really prepared hard for this tribute, so I'm going to read it. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I kept looking and saying, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Is it true that he's not here? I even wanted to go into ChatGPT and say tribute to a father from a daughter, but I was scared that in the middle somewhere there it would say, do you want me to paraphrase this? So I decided to do it myself. Here goes. I can't believe that I'm here again. Last year in June, we lost Mom, and now we have lost Dad. Mom had prepared us, which is why I can remember the exact time she passed away, at 6:03 p.m. on the 4th of June, 2024. But for Dad, it happened all too quickly. I'm still trying to catch my breath. My dad was a lot of things to a lot of people. A politician, a businessman, a farmer, an accountant, a diplomat, and the list goes on and on. But to me, he has always been my dad, dependable, reliable, and so full of love. When I think of my dad, a smile comes to my face because of his great sense of humor. We used to crack up all the time, him and I, over our own little private jokes, and I'm grateful that I had that and thankful that I will always have memories. If I was gutted when Mom left us last year, losing Dad feels like somebody has ripped my heart out of my chest and is cutting it in a million little pieces. It's hard for me to accept that he is gone, but like my mother used to say, Gaindeka makosa, which means God does no wrong. And his word also says that he will never give you something that is too heavy to bear. Lord, I need you to help me with this one because this yoke is really heavy. My dad always had time for us, and I thanked him for the gift of his presence. I never had to wonder if he loved me. Because of this, he made sure I knew. Since Saturday, the 22nd of November, my phone has not rung with his number. And for me, this is the hardest reality to accept because for as long as I can remember, even as a child with landlines, he was the 1, 2, 3 or 4 phone calls a day that I could count on. We always used to joke that if I disappeared, he would be the first to know, and I could count on him to find me. There are so many lessons that my dad taught me, and for that I am thankful. Firstly, he taught me how to pray and to have faith in God. Secondly, he taught me you only live once, and you decide what you want to do with your life. I have fond memories of being in school and him telling me, I can pay your fees, but I cannot open your brain to read for you. That you must do for yourself. He was my number one cheerleader. I always shared my dreams, aspirations, challenges, and difficulties with him for his guidance, advice, and mentorship. I am comforted by the fact that he lived a full life according to his own terms, and what a great life that was, and I'm thankful I got to be a part of it. As a politician, we honor his legacy for two things. Firstly, consistently being in one political party. My brother just said he was a life member of DP, and he always used to tell us, you don't have two lives, you only have one. Secondly, for being the first to ever give away power and step down for the next generation. This he did at the DP NDC, where he stepped down for Honorable GB Muturi. And if you look at the back of your program, you see my dad doing this. And it says, from my heart to God. So what my dad used to do when he would do DP is that he would do this and then this. And when we would ask him what that means, he meant from my heart to God. So that's what the back means. Daddy, you made us so proud. I was proud to carry your name, and I promise that I will try to uphold your name and live up to your integrity and principled nature. I could go on and on about my dad, as there are not enough words that exist to describe this man, but a few come to mind. He was stoic, he was wise, he was funny, he was humble, he was generous, he was tough, he was dedicated, he was intentional, he was present, he was a good provider, he was powerful, he was graceful, and he was a true diplomat. He was kind, he was compassionate, he was analytical, he was strong, he was brave, he was an orator, he was fun, he was joyful, he was loyal, and lastly, he was so loving. They say a daughter's first love is her father, and I'm thankful that it was you, Dad, because you set the bar so high and showed me what love was. So I say this to you, Dad, one of your favorite quotes. Love which knows love, if love misses love, then love knows what love meant to love when love was with love. It's strange that I only get it now that he's gone. Say hello to Mom and build me a house next to yours in heaven, because I know one day I will see you again. So in the words of your favorite musician, Jim Reeves, who you gave me a love for, adios, amigo. Adios, my friend. The road we have traveled has come to an end. Adios, my compadre. Let us shed no tears. May all your mañanas bring joy through the years. Away from these memories, my life I must spend. Adios, amigo. Adios, my friend. I love you always. Tindi.
Thank you very much, and let's appreciate them once more as they take their seats. I'm going to invite the music team to kindly come. We're going to stand and sing together another hymn, and then after that, we're going to have the grandchildren share their tributes. And after the grandchildren share their tributes, I'll invite the Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Andrew Ndolo, to come and guide us on the remaining tributes. We normally would give more time to the family, and so as the Master of Ceremonies gives you guidance, kindly let us stick to the time that he will give. But also we want to let us know that, of course, we know that Mzee was a politician, and so some of the tributes will be from his political colleagues. We will ask that we focus our tributes on the family, and kindly, as a practice of the Nairobi Baptist Church, let us not engage in partisanship. Thank you. So let me ask us to stand as we sing our next song, and then after that, we'll have the tributes from the grandchildren. I'll ask them if it's okay with them. Please come to the front as we wait for that.
We're going to sing Still When the Oceans Rise and Thunders Roll. I will soar with you above the storm, for the Lord remains King over the flood. Hide me now under your wing, under your wings, and cover me, within your mighty hand, within your mighty hand. And when the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are King over the flood. I will be still, know you are God. I will be still, know you are God. Find rest, my soul, find rest, my soul, in Christ alone. And know his power, know his power, in quietness, and when the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are King over the flood. I will be still, know you are God. I will be still, and know. And when the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are King over the floods. I will be still, know you are God. I will be still, know you are God.
Thank you very much. You may have your seats. At this time, allow me to invite the grandchildren to kindly. Let me invite Jinan and Steve to please come, and then after that, the grandchildren will share their tributes. Then Andrew Ndolo will take over from that. As they come up, Alex, allow me to say this publicly. You are Dad's son, and Dad had his shoes, you have your shoes. Allow his shoes to rest with him. Amen? I know many people will ask you to take over, wear his shoes, etc., etc. You have your own shoes, you have your own life mission. Live out yours. Amen? You can emulate him, you can all emulate him, but you don't need to replace him. Amen?
Good afternoon. My name is Konzollo Munyao. I'm not going to read my tribute because I think you've heard what Dad was to us, the siblings. I would like to say that the same way he treated his children, his biological children, is the same way he treated us. He called me daughter. The only thing I forgot to say was father. So I want to just say I'm so privileged to be a part of his life. I want to thank God for his life. Like I said in my tribute, I knew of Dad before I met him. That was before I got married into this family, because when I met Charlo, he would speak to his dad like every week, and all I would hear is laughter. And I could never understand what exactly do they talk about. He would never be asking his child about his school, what is he doing in college. All I would hear was laughter. So that was my introduction to Dad. A lot of love and a lot of laughter, and that has been till to date, until he passed on. So I say I'm very privileged to have been a part of this family. He took me on with open arms, him and Mom, and loved me exactly like his child. I want to talk about Dad's integrity. As a politician, I never wanted to get married to a family where they're politicians. But looking at Dad throughout his life, even when he came out of politics and he retired and he was home with us even in the last year, Dad slept peacefully. You all know why? He never had to worry about a scandal coming out. He never had to worry about any corruption cases coming out on him. His integrity went with him all the way. So we honor him for that. The other thing I can say is he showed love. He wasn't afraid to show love as a man. So I can say he loved us all, and we loved him back. So he knew he was loved. And again, I always say that if you have parents who are alive today, please do not wait for them to go and give their tribute when they're gone. You need to show them love today. So let's continue loving each other and being there for each other. We shall miss Dad. Like I think Teto said, we were not given a chance to go through the process of Dad leaving us. It's going to be hard. It's actually even hard to imagine that he's not there, but God will see us through, and I pray that God will see the family through this season. Thank you, and God bless.
Good afternoon. My name is Christine Wanjiro, wife to Tet Munyao. I'm going to read my tributes. I'm going to make it quick. My first encounter with Dad was a professional one. I worked at Alpha Group of Companies in Mombasa, was in charge of Fisheries Department, and this placed me under the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries. Dad was a minister then, and though I had not interacted with him one-on-one directly, I knew he was tough, no-nonsense person who followed the rules by the book. In August 2007, the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries emerged the winners of the Mombasa ASK show, and for having the best stand. To celebrate the win, the minister, Dad, then invited the stakeholders for a celebratory dinner at Voyager Hotel. My company sent me to represent them. This is the dinner where I met my husband, Ted. Months later, When Ted introduced me to Dad, I was very skeptical. I expected to meet the tough person I knew. I actually thought I would go through an interrogation. To the contrary, he was nothing but warm, welcoming, and loving, and remained consistently so for the period I knew him. Dad had a rich history about himself. I enjoyed listening to his stories about his early school days, how he was spoiled for choice when he got multiple jobs immediately after high school, his stay in Russia as a diplomat. All this he would narrate to us when we paid him a visit. My two favorite topics with Dad were politics and golf. Politics was in his blood, and it was always fascinating listening to his political journey from a young age, how his role in the fight for democracy, and I always wanted to pick his mind on the current politics. From politics, I admired how principled he was. In an era where politicians go with the waves, Dad always stood by what he believed in. Dad loved golf, but as he grew older, he developed back issues that made it difficult to swing the club, and he really missed playing. When I joined golf, he encouraged me a lot and would at times send me flyers of games that he thought I should play. Every time I went for a competition, he was always excited to hear about it. He knew most of the courses like the back of his hand. Dad was one person who genuinely cared about one's day-to-day activities and well-being. Even when we had not talked for a while, the next time you met him, you'd be surprised when he asked about you and specific events. He would get an update about us, my daughter and I, when he talked to Ted, which they did quite a number of times daily. We have different people say how much Dad supported them and supported them and touched their lives in different ways. Dad loved education particularly. I remember when I told him I was starting my master's over 10 years ago, he called me to his office, and to my surprise, he asked me how much the first term semester fees was, and then he wrote me a check for the full term. I've never been happier. That's the kind of person Dad was, selfless. Dad fondly referred to me as Mama Sarah or my daughter, and I can proudly say that he told me I made the best isio. And every time he visited our home, we always made sure to make for him isio. And we also used to take for him the isio. Later, as he was not moving a lot, we'd take him to his house. We'll really miss that. I could go on and on about Dad, but I'm glad he rested knowing how much he was loved and cared for. And he also left no doubt that he cared and loved us. We will cherish all the times and moments we spent together, and we hope and pray that we can carry the lessons we learned from you to generations to come. Rest well, Dad. We will miss you.
Good afternoon, everyone. God is good, and all the time, and that is nature. All right, okay, great. I'm the Kamau in the Munyao Kamau. My name is Stephen Kamau Kiarie. My wife is Stephanie Mutindi. She started off by saying a very heartfelt thank you to myself, but I think it's only right for me to return that favor and to return that honor. It was her who showed me what it really means to love and to care for your loved ones, your parents especially. And I'm very glad, to have her as the mother of our children, because she has managed to actually, role model that to them. For me, it wasn't really a sacrifice. You've heard severally about the number of times these siblings would get on calls with their parents. I don't know how they had any more time to do anything else other than be on the phone with the parents. Every day, 3, 4, 5 times a day, each of them would find time to talk to the parents. So they've really shown us what it is to love and to care for our loved ones. So thank you to each of you. I'll also follow suit and read my tribute. In June 2024, I found myself in this same position, pen and paper on my table, searching for words as we laid Mom to rest.
A few years before that, I had also walked a similar valiant journey when I lost my own mom. Today I find myself here again, this time to honor you, Dad. My father-in-law by title, but a father to me in the way you lived, loved, and led. You have been a part of my life for about 20 years since we first met in 2005 when Tindi introduced us. From the very beginning, you treated me with respect and warmth. Over time, our relationship grew. You didn't just see me as the young man who married your daughter. You allowed me into your inner circle as one of your sons. I know my journey with you was not as long or as deep as that of your children who walked with you from the very start, but you still made space for me in your life and in your heart, and that is something I will never take for granted. Dad, you are a stand-up man. You loved your family deeply and consistently. You showed us not through big speeches, but through quiet, deliberate choices that family always comes first. You worried about us, you guided us, you protected us, and you carried the weight of being the family patriarch with dignity. You had a clear vision for your family, and you led with purpose and integrity. When I look at your 4 children, I see you living in a very real way. Your body, strength, and physical presence lives on in Chalo. Your sharp mind, clarity, and structured way of thinking live on in Jude. Your soul, warmth, and easy way with people lives on in Tet. And your heart, your tenderness, your compassion, your humor, and your deep care for others live on in the one and only Tindi. In each of them, a different part of you continues to walk this earth, and together they carry the fullness of who you are. You are also a man of unquestionable integrity, a true gentleman. People knew that your word meant something. You had friends and relationships that cut across all divides because people trusted you. They knew where you stood. They knew that you would not compromise your principles, whether in private life, in business, or in politics. Professionally, you were an astute businessman. You understood people, opportunities, and timing, but above all, you always put integrity at the very top. You reminded us that no deal is worth your name and no gain is worth losing your character. That quiet, firm line you drew around your values is something I personally admire deeply and will always remember. Politically, you are the Simba. You are loved and respected in equal measure across the political divide. Whether people agreed with you or not, they recognized your courage, your conviction, and your consistency. You carried yourself with a certain authority, that the kind that doesn't demand respect but commands it naturally. To me personally, Dad, you love me as one of your own. We shared a work ethic and a love for problem solving that made our conversations rich and meaningful. Our projects and plans were always a topic of conversation when we'd bring Jojo and myself over for a shave. In the early days, you'd say, Kijana, keep working hard. But as time went by and our bond deepened, that changed to my son, keep at it, keep working hard. It will all make sense and it will be worth it. These words have stayed with me and will continue to guide me. Even as you encouraged me to work hard and push forward, you always reminded me to put family first. You would gently bring me back to what truly matters, which is being present, being grounded, and never letting ambition come before the people we love. That balance of drive and family, of work and home, is one of the greatest lessons I carry from you, Dad. I will deeply miss you. I will miss your presence, your wisdom, your quiet strength, and the way you believed in each and every one of us. But your spirit, your values, and your example will continue to live on in this family. I promise to honor your memory and to keep your legacy alive. I will do my best to continue driving your plans and the projects for the family forward with the same integrity and commitment that you modeled for us. Rest in peace, Dad, and thank you for calling me your son, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll ask the grandchildren to come. After that, Andrew, if you can kindly take over after the grandchildren. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Konzollo Munyao. On this day, I honor a man who was far more than a grandfather to me. For a year and a half, he was my father figure. He took care of us, guided us, protected us in every way, and showed us a true example of what integrity looks like. He lived his life with honesty, courage, and a commitment to always doing what was right, no matter the consequences. As a politician and as a man, his principles were never wavered. Munyao, you have left us so soon, and my heart is still heavy with how sudden and painful this loss feels. Yet, even in the sadness, I find comfort in knowing that you are with Shosho, and that brings me peace. Munyao always looked good and dressed well, even when he wasn't leaving the house, and he never shied away from telling us exactly how he felt about the way we dressed. And somehow, even that felt like love. Beneath his gentle strictness was a heart full of care. He was incredibly intelligent and would always listen fast, analyze everything quietly, and only then did he speak. And when he spoke, you knew it was thoughtful, honest, and true. He was a godly man in every sense. He wouldn't eat, move, or begin anything without prayer. His faith shaped our home, our family, and each one of us who had the privilege of being loved by him. I will miss him. I will miss him beyond words. I will miss being called darling. Hearing his warm voice, asking me how my physiotherapy went, and feeling the comfort of knowing he was always thinking of me. It hurts knowing those moments will never come again. But even in my grief, I remain grateful. Grateful for the love he gave, the values he lived, and the legacy he leaves behind. I promise to honor the Munyao name, to never tarnish it, and to always choose what is right regardless of the consequences. I promise to love God, to carry myself with integrity, and to live by the principles that you taught us, Munyao. Thank you for everything, and I thank God for allowing me to experience the amazing man that you are. You were taken from us too soon, but your impact will live with us forever. I love you so much, and may you continue to rest in peace. Your darling Konzollo.
Good afternoon. My name is Konzollo Munyao, and I'll also be reading my tribute. Munyao possessed a truly pure heart. He was firm where he needed to be, but everything he did was wrapped in love. He carried a calm and gentle spirit, and I always felt an unwavering sense of safety just by being in his presence. He was very neat and organized and always carried himself with a lot of dignity. What I'll miss the most about Munyao was his sarcasm and humor. He lit up every room he was in, along with his heartfelt compliments. He simply had a way of making life feel lighter. I feel extremely fortunate and grateful for every moment God granted us with Munyao. He was very present in our lives and raised us in the most perfect way, leaving behind an immeasurable legacy of love. Munyao, though you left us so soon, I feel deep comfort knowing that the last thing I did was pray with you, and I will forever hold on to that final memory of hearing your voice. Thank you for everything, for the love you gave us so freely, and for the life you lived so beautifully. Thank you for filling our lives with warmth and for leaving behind a boundless love that will continue to unite us even in your absence. I miss you terribly already, but I know you're in a better place. I love you always. Rest in perfect peace, and say a big hello to Shosho, as I know she welcomed you with open arms in heaven. Love, your darling Jerry.
Okay, I'll read Mwende, my sister's tribute as well. Munyao, I want to begin by saying I love you and I miss you so much. These past days, I've struggled to find the right words to honor you because nothing feels big enough to say what you meant to me. I never imagined that the last time I saw you, hugged you, and sat with you would truly be my last. Our final morning together, having breakfast at the villa before I left for school again, is a moment I now hold closer than ever. I remember you telling me to keep working hard and finish school strong. You always believed in me, always encouraged me to keep going, and those words stay with me every day. You were never far from my life, always wanting to know what I was doing, how I was feeling, and what was happening in school. You cared about us so deeply. My ma was a leader his entire life, steady, wise, and graceful. Even up to the very end, you led our family with kindness. You shared so much wisdom with me and my cousins, and we will forever be grateful to have you as our grandfather. You had this incredible way of checking on everyone. You cared, and you always showed up. And of course, you were the biggest joker I knew, always ready with something funny to say. Every conversation I had with you had so much laughter, and that joy is something I will never forget. It hurts me deeply that I didn't get a chance to say goodbye, and that is a pain I'm still learning how to keep. But I find comfort in knowing that you're resting now peacefully and united with Shosho, just the way it has always been. I hope you knew how much I loved you, how much I still love you, and how much I will always miss you. With love, your darling Mwende.
So, I'm Konzollo Lightfoot, not Konzollo Munyao, but you guys know me as Zoe. And as you guys also know, I have a sister. She can't be here with us today, so I'll be reading her tribute, and then I'll highlight mine as well. Tindi. My grandfather was the kind man who stood in two worlds at the same time. To the public, he was a leader, a man who knew how to speak, influence, and move people. He took on responsibility that most people would run from, and he never hid from impact or pressure. That strength showed up in everything he touched. But the version of him that we got in the family was different and honestly better. He had a sense of humor that cracked open any room that he walked into. He was the kind of funny that wasn't forced or for show. It was real. It was sharp. It was a kind of humor that told you he understood people on a deeper level. The thing I respect the most, and I won't sugarcoat it, was how deeply he loved my grandmother. Not everyone gets to witness a love that strong. The way he carried her, protected her, laughed, and stayed devoted until the end says everything about the kind of man he was. Their bond wasn't perfect, but it was real and unbreakable. And the truth is, they were the kind of couple that makes you believe loyalty still exists today. He led communities, but also he led a family. He influenced politics, but he also influenced who we became as people. He wasn't just respected, he earned that respect. He stood by his beliefs. He didn't back down from a challenge, and he didn't need to pretend to be someone he wasn't. He wasn't a quiet background character in life. He was a presence, a force, someone who knew how to command a room and someone who knew how to soften when he was with the people he loved the most. We didn't just lose a grandfather, we lost a man who shaped our family's story. We lost a man who loved fiercely, fought for what he believed in, and who showed us strength and humor can exist in the same person. His legacy isn't just memories, it's an example he left behind. His story doesn't end here, it continues in every one of us who were changed by knowing him. So I'm just going to read the third paragraph from my tribute. I was fortunate to spend time living with him and Soso when I was young, and the countless summers at the villa. I'm so thankful for those moments, and I'd be a different person without them. I think this portion of my tribute really means the most to me. I was lucky to spend some formative years with my grandfather, and also countless summers. And those years are very important, right? And I feel so lucky to have been able to spend them with him, my grandmother. And I think about that quite a lot now that they're both gone. And over the last few months, I was thinking about Umao quite a lot. I was trying to come back and see him. That was one of the main things on my mind, but then I was also thinking about his role in my life, my cousin's life, my sister, and thinking about the kind of grandfather that he was, right? And I'm really grateful that I had someone in my life that truly loved me and had a strong relationship with me, even though I wasn't here all the time. And also I'm grateful that I was able to have a grandfather that had a personal relationship with me. And I'll never forget that. So yeah, thank you, and rest well, Umao, and I'll forever miss you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Motete, and I will also be reading my tribute. I'm so grateful to have had a chance to know my Umao the way I did, especially the softer, better side of him outside of politics. I grew up visiting my Umao in Shushu every Sunday, and if I never visited, I felt strange. Now that they're both gone, all I can think about is how I don't have them anymore. As one of his grandchildren, I was spoiled with lots of love, care, and affection, something we can all say we received from him, and I am forever grateful. After Shushu's passing, I tried my best to be there for him. I would always go for sleepovers whenever I could, where we would watch all kinds of shows until eventually he fell asleep on the chair, though even then he would still refuse to go to bed, claiming he wasn't really asleep. Every time I visited Villa, he would always tell me I looked smart and beautiful. And on the days I would tell him how smart he looked himself, and he would laugh and say he did it to look like me, even though I would have showed up in pajamas. Little moments like these always made me feel so close and special to him. Whenever we left the house together, I would always walk beside him, holding his hand. He would tell me how safer he felt with me and call me his personal bodyguard. One of my favorite things to do with him was to go on walks around Villa. Sometimes he would jokingly increase the lap size so we could go back inside, and that would always leave us both laughing. Now that he is no longer with us, I am grateful to have so many cherishable moments to hold on to. I will miss hearing his voice calling me darling, and I don't know what comes next, but I do know he's in a better place, reunited with Shushu. I love you so, so much, and thank you for everything, Umao.
Sorry, we're just going to read Jojo and Nessie's tributes really quick. Jojo loved his Umao deeply, and they lovingly called each other Wasa. He's named after his two grandfathers who share the name Joseph. Some of his happiest moments were the simple ones, sitting with Umao, sharing a laugh, getting a haircut together with George, using his walking sticks and hats as at will, or just being close to each other. Even at 4, he knew he was very safe and very loved in Umao's arms. Thank you, Dad, for loving him so much and for making time to be there for him, picking him up from school, the pancake visits at the villa after school, which he will miss so much. His first question when he would call would always be, how is my Wasa and my darling? Please keep looking out for them from above. We pray that as Jojo grows, he will carry Umao's strength, his courage, and his big heart in everything he does.
Nessie may have only been 1 year old, but she knew her Umao's love. Umao prayed for her and blessed her with his love from the very beginning. He held her gently, smiled at her always, and often said she gazed straight into his eyes like she could see his soul. His face always lit up when he saw her. He showered her with hugs and kisses, and Nessie always responded in kind. He would send funny baby videos to Auntie Tindi for her, especially kids dancing, and even introduced the famous Chicken Banana song, which Jojo and Nessie both loved so much. Named after Mom, she comforted Dad where she arrived just a month after Mom's passing. Thank you, Dad, for filling the gap for Mom this year while we were blessed with Nessie, and for helping us navigate our new bond and mince the grief of losing our Mara dear. We promise to remember her as she grows of how Umao, who adored her and fondly called her my darling, may she carry his legacy of love.
Good afternoon. As you heard, my names are Andrew Ndola Ndolo, and I'll be taking you through the remaining part of today's program. We have a video from one of the grandchildren who is in the US who couldn't make it here today. I think we can play that video now, because immediately after that we go into the tributes, beginning with the political class. So can we have that video, please?
No, it's not been easy to live life down on my knees, but with faith I know I'll carry on. There is more to see than with my eyes, but fear sometimes can leave me paralyzed. I realize that I'm not in control, yet it is well with my soul. The enemy's against me, arrows all around me. Never knew the fight would last so long. In seasons of depression, I plead for your protection. Make me right, I'm tired of being wrong. Every time there's hope, it seems to die, and the voices all around me feed the lie. Everything I see tells me to let go, yet it is well with my soul. Teach me how to love you. Show me how to trust you. More than with my words or with a song.
Thank you very much. Let's clap for this young lady. Mwende is the last born child of Alex and Jainan. She couldn't make it here. She's tending to one of her cousins who's not well. So she couldn't make it. She couldn't fly in from the US. She's an extremely talented singer. She was able to grace us with her voice when we laid Mama to rest. A truly amazing gift. We are now moving into an area, as you all know, that was extremely dear to the late Munyao. He was a politician, a man of the people, and because of this, he had friendships from all over. The area we're going into now requires a slightly different order. We have some very senior politicians with us here today, and to usher that part of the program, I will invite the leader of the Democratic Party, Honorable Justin Muturi, who will take us through the next part of today's program. So, Bwana Muturi, please join me here. You need the microphones.
Good afternoon, church. I stand before you to bring in my personal condolences to the family of my friend and the party patron of the Democratic Party, Honorable Joseph Konzollo Munyao. I did not know Munyao for many years, for indeed I just met him the other day in 1990 when I was posted to work in Machakos. And because of who he has been described to be, which I want to confirm, we instantly became initially acquaintances, and progressively became good friends. He would always, on occasion, remind many people of some of those occasions that we met in some of those difficult moments when he was out of parliament and when he was in parliament. I may not wish to recite some of those moments in the interest of time, but allow me to read the eulogy from the party, which he gracefully handed over to me, the leadership, in 2021 and early 2022. And he on his own volition, agreed to continue serving the party in the capacity of the patron. It is with profound sorrow that I, together with the entire Democratic Party of Kenya fraternity, mourn the passing of Honorable Joseph Konzollo Munyao, PGH. His departure marks the loss of a towering statesman, a visionary leader, and one of the distinguished co-founders of our party, alongside the late President Kibaki. Honorable Munyao devoted his life to the service of our nation. His political journey, beginning with his long and impactful service as Member of Parliament for Mboni constituency, for the periods that have been described in the eulogies read previously. And that reflected an unwavering dedication to the welfare and dignity of the Kenyan people. His humility, discipline, and steadfast commitment to public service earned him admiration across generations. As Minister for Livestock and Fisheries Development between the years 2003 and 2007, the Honorable Munyao provided strategic and visionary leadership that played a pivotal role in modernizing and strengthening Kenya's livestock sector. One of his most celebrated achievements was the revival and the reopening of the Kenya Meat Commission in June 2006, ending a 15-year closure. This transformative milestone revitalized the meat processing industry, expanded economic opportunities for pastoral communities, and restored Kenya's capacity to compete in regional and international livestock markets. It remains one of the defining achievements in our country's agricultural development history. Within the Democratic Party of Kenya, the Honorable Munyao's contributions were immeasurable. At one point, as Secretary General, he strengthened our party's structures and deepened its ideological foundations, always reaching out to other like-minded political parties, not just in the country, but across the continent and internationally. As party leader, between the years 2015 and 2022, he provided stable, unifying leadership during a period of significant political transition. As a patron, a position he assumed with characteristic humility after voluntarily handing over the leadership to me, he continued to offer invaluable wisdom, clarity, and fatherly counsel until his passing on. The Honorable Munyao believed deeply in generational renewal, institutional stability, and principled politics. His leadership was marked by integrity, foresight, and unshakable belief in Kenya's democratic future. His legacy of public service, nation building, and exemplary humility will forever remain etched in our hearts and in the history of our party and country. On behalf of the Democratic Party of Kenya, my own behalf and that of my family, I extend heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, and people of Mboni, and all who had the privilege of working with him. We stand with you in this moment of grief and honor his extraordinary life with gratitude and reverence. May his soul rest in eternal peace. When I learned of the passing on of the Honorable Joseph Munyao, I immediately reached out to Alex, because as many of you would recall, it was just the other week when we were very busy down in the villages, traversing the valleys and hills in Mbeere North, doing what the late Munyao loved to do. But prior to that, on the 7th of November, at the launch of my book, the Honorable Munyao had indicated to me earlier when I contacted him that he would wish to be present at that launch, which was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. But unfortunately, on that evening, he was not able because he was feeling unwell. But he gave his phone to one of his daughters. I'm now going to discover who it was today, and indicated that I must autograph a copy of that book on that date and deliver it to him. Unfortunately, soon thereafter, I hit the road running in Mbeere North, and as fate would have it, my good friend, our patron, went to be with his maker when I was down in the villages, and before I could hand over the autographed copy of my book titled The Fight for Honor. I now, with humility, wish to hand over that the copy of the book to both Alex and the sister, who I don't know, because in honor and memory of my friend and our party patron, the Honorable Joseph Konzollo Munyao. I had been given indication that two of my colleagues desire to go to some other engagements, and therefore allow me to invite them to come and give their personal messages of solidarity and condolences. I could begin the nearest, the Honorable His Excellency Gachagua.
Thank you very much, the clergy, the family of the late Honorable Joseph Konzollo Munyao, distinguished leaders and those present. God is good, and all the time. Hi, cousins. Hi, cousins. Let me take this opportunity to bring the condolences of my family to the family of the late Joseph Munyao, a distinguished public servant who has served this country with dedication. We have keenly followed his eulogy, and we have nothing but admiration for a man who gave his all to serve his country, and also a man who brought up his family well. And that is what we desire in this country. I had the privilege of meeting the late Joseph Munyao. He was a great friend of my late brother, the first governor of Nyeri, Gachagua. They were together in the Democratic Party. He was jocular, a very entertaining, good old man. And I listened to him, and I followed a few lessons from him. I must say that we from Nyeri remain indebted to the late Joseph Munyao for the way he stood with our third president, Kibaki, from the formation of DP 1991. And he stuck with him. When he lost the elections in 1992, he stuck with him. When he lost in 1997, he stuck with him. And when he won in 2002, they won together. I really admire consistency and true friendship, because Joseph Munyao was a true friend of Mzee Mwai Kibaki, the greatest president Kenya has ever had. So as we honor him, as we bury him, let's be true people to friendship. Let's be consistent. If you choose a path, stick to it from the beginning to the end, because that dignifies you as a person, as a leader. Finally, his contribution to the growth of the Democratic Party as a strong political party reminds all of us the need to develop strong political parties for the growth of our democracy in this country. And as we bury him, we'll emulate him, and in the parties that we belong, we'll make sure that we develop them into strong political parties for the growth of our democracy. So familia poleni, tunatakia nyinyi mema, we'll pray for you. We wish God's guidance at this very difficult time of losing the family head, and we believe God will wipe your tears and will see you through in the years to come. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much.
Allow me to invite His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to come and make his remarks and give his condolences.
The family of our late brother Alex and you guys, Pastor Pinto and our elder brother Mutava there, and the community of Nairobi Baptist Church, my friends, party leaders, and fellow mourners. Well, I am here to announce a draw. The argument as to who corrupted the name Kalonzo and Konzollo is now settled. It's a draw. And but I've realized, Alex, you even made it worse in the program. I used always to believe Konzollo was Konzlo, but you put another L. Now you have reopened the discussion. Be that as it may, we are here to honor a very distinguished, honorable Kenyan leader who has played his role on the national stage with such distinction. I must tell you the reason we picked up that argument between names was simply to manage stress. We were managing stress. And so we would just, how do we begin this conversation? Mzee Munyao was one of our finest, even as a community of Makueni and Ukambani. And now, as we lay him to rest, the party that he so proudly led and was part of has just gone through a by-election. I want to, in my own view, say DP did not lose in Bere North, so that Konzollo will rest in peace. It was something else. But that is because I take seriously the counsel by our pastors that we will try and remain apolitical, as is our tradition in this congregation. But I want to say, as we obviously escort Konzollo, a year ago we were there, and those things I'll say in Kalawa, I can't say here, because when we said Kwaheri to his laugh bad, they really were so close. And it is apparent to me that some of these relationships are so close that when one partner rests, then it becomes difficult. I can say I saw this with the case of our late friend John Lusa when he lost his wife Irene. And I suppose we have now to develop shock absorbers so that we, as Pastor Pinto has advised you, Alex, you have to wear your own shoes. Don't jump into Mzee's shoes, maybe very big. But as family friends, we are there to stand with you every step of the way, the best way we can, and so that we give Mzee Munyao the kind of send-off that we can. But of course, it's safe in the hands of God. I have written a statement on behalf of Wiper Patriotic Front. The reason, by the way, we used to manage this stress because Joseph was DP Ndamu. And then those days, even when we are now trying to organize multi-party democracy, he was so committed to Mzee Kibaki. And him and Kibaki and Inukambane Kiale Mwendwa, those were the maestros, those were Kibaki strong men. And I was there, I can see in Twiga nodding, that commitment. It was very difficult for me to be in the opposite side. So we would just meet and make those jokes and get along. Later on, of course, I saw Konzolo's commitment to family and community. I know my sister Mother Kasanga will probably be here. I don't know whether she is. So when Senator Sylvia tells me she isn't, and of course I'm sure she will see her at home, the commitment Konzolo and the late Justice Kasanga Molo, that I don't know, is because what is your Kamba clan, Aombe? Yeah, Tui. I don't know whether there's a branch of Waombe, which Katuku, I think Katuku, Mheshimiwa Katuku, whether you are Mwombe, who believe there are more than the Kambas everywhere. So I saw that, living family values, community values. So here, honestly, we will miss Mzee Konzolo. And as you have said, children, you're all grown-ups. I saw the little ones, the granddaughters, mourning more than the children. You know, the grandchildren normally would jump on the graves, the grave of their grandfathers and grandmothers. But here, it's a man who held so closely to those family values that even the grandchildren find it difficult to let go. May his soul rest in everlasting peace. Amen.
At their own request, allow me also to invite the Honorable Martha Karua, who is the leader of the People's Liberation Party, to come and make a statement and a message of condolence. I've been told that the Honorable John Mutua Katuku belongs to the Atangwa clan. I'm not sure.
God is good, and all the time. The family of our late brother, Joseph Konzollo Munyao, the clergy and all those who have come. Like all of you, we are here to stand with the family and to honor the memory of our dear colleague. I worked with the late Munyao for the longest in DP, having joined DP in 1991 and staying steadfast in DP until it delivered us to government through the National Rainbow Coalition. Thereafter, we worked in government together. An amiable, happy man, always radiating warmth, and somebody who was able to work with everyone. We worked through tough times, through good times, and one thing was constant. He was always there with a smile and his usual warmth. I don't want to repeat the things that have been said about him, but I will repeat, he was a man of integrity. He loved Kenya. He was a patriot, and he gave his all when he was appointed minister. And I dare say that first cabinet of Kibaki, a majority truly worked for the nation, and hence the way the reforms unfolded. Nobody can reform alone. You utilize the, shall I say, woman power. Men should feel included, because forever we say manpower until women are included. So one utilizes the woman power available. In other words, the human resources available to them. He was a good family man, always talking about his family and very close to them. He was a great example to emulate in leadership and in family life. I know it's difficult to part with your dad, but may his very rich legacy be a source of comfort and pride for the family. We will all miss him, but we will remember his good deeds. And because I had the clergy a little worried about politicians, when a politician dies, do allow us to bury him with a little bit of politics, because that's what he practiced. So long as it is good politics, do allow us. When it's an army man, you will find them firing shots to remind what the profession was. When it is a clergy, they come with all their habits. Allow us to pour a little bit of politics during the burial of a politician. And I'll say this, our country is at crossroads, and it is up to us, all of us, the clergy and lay people, politicians, everybody included, to weigh where we may have gone wrong and where we need to correct. The truth shall always be the truth. However much we cover lies or falsehoods, they'll never graduate to become the truth. We need to change the way we do things. And yes, Bere and Malava and all this by-elections, something was terribly wrong. But as citizens, we must ask ourselves, even though we are oppressed, are the gifts worth it? Because they confuse and give room for meddling. We are coming to a general election in about 1.5 years. If we do not retrace our steps, we stand to lose our nation. So let us work hard, think hard, and be patriots, the way the late Joseph Konzollo Munyao was. May he rest in peace.
Allow me to invite the Honorable Eugene Wamalwa, the leader of the Democratic Action Party, to come and make his remarks.
Thank you very much. The Munyao family and fellow mourners, please allow me to bring my deepest condolences to the family and to, on behalf of the Democratic Action Party, to also bring our condolences to the family and to the Democratic Party, a party that Mzee really, really loved. And we say pole to a statesman, not a politician. He was truly a statesman, a leader of integrity, a leader of great vision. And today, as we mourn him, we want to say, if there's something we can borrow from Mzee, there's one word that runs through all the stories we've heard about him and all the tributes paid today. And that word is integrity, integrity, integrity. If we could just borrow that from Mzee and inject that into our national discourse and our leadership, this country would truly change. Those who are talking about Kenya becoming a Singapore, it will take integrity in our leadership. It will take the kind of leadership that we've seen in Mzee to change this country. I knew Mzee when he worked very closely with my late brother, Michael Omalwa. The two are very close to Mzee Kibaki. And even after my brother died, after Mzee Kibaki died, the friendship went on through the years. In the recent past, I interacted with him last year when we came home, when Mama Agnes Munyao died. We came with His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka. We came home to say pole. Mzee was strong, but you could see he was devastated, losing the love of his life. And to the family, we say pole. After losing Mama just last year, losing Mzee today, it is truly devastating. And may the good Lord give you the grace to bear your loss. As we go forward, we do recall that what Mzee stood for with Kibaki, the fight for multi-party democracy, when DP played a front role to bring multi-party democracy in this country, he has taught us that we can remain and have fidelity in multi-party democracy, fidelity to our parties. And this is what we must fight for, to defend our multi-party democracy at the hour of great peril. His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka has said here that Mzee would have died with a victory in Bere, where his party, the Democratic Party, did very well. We believe the DP won the Bere seat, but they were denied victory. We also do believe, just like in Western Kenya, the Democratic Action Party, a sister party of DP, also won the Malava seat, but we were equally denied victory. And I'm here with Seth Panyako, our candidate, a victim of great violence and intimidation. But in due course, they shall be tested in court. And we do believe that the truth will come out and the truth shall set us free. Asanteni sana, na Mungu awabariki.
Thank you very much. Before I hand over the mic to Dolo, may I recognize the members of the Democratic Party, the leadership who may be present. If they are around. Yes, please. I think those of us who are here, please, they have requested that we take a photograph here. And of course, I want to recognize the fact that Alex himself is a member of the Democratic Party. He was indeed our candidate for the Mboni parliamentary seats. Oh yes, I can see. Oh, long time ago. Kujeni hapa tunataka tu chini.